as we get ready to start our almost to last meeting of the school year.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Okay. All right, I'm going to start off by calling the meeting to order. And then I am going to skip over our financial report for this year. We were having a few technical difficulties, but it was the same as, not this year, this month. It was the same as last month because it wasn't a lot going on. So the numbers haven't changed outside of a few donations for the family annual scholarship pledge. But I will move on to our scholarship and pledge payments. Jashawn? I can't hear you, Jashawn.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so our membership dues are $10. That helps us cover our operating expenses, $10 per family. We have the $100 pledge scholarship for the seniors. So in order to qualify for a scholarship, they must pay the $100 pledge. If you have multiple students, it will be $50 for the second student, but $100 is the pledge. Unless you have two students, then again, the $50 is for the second student. You can submit your payments via Cash App at Southland PTSO. That's $ Southland PTSO, or you can bring it up to the school.
Okay, thank you, Jashawn. And just to make clear, there's been a little confusion. The $10 membership due does not count towards the $100 pledge payment. Mm-hmm. So we've had some parents who have paid the $10 over the last 3 or 4 years. That $10 does not count towards the $100 pledge payment. The PTSO dues are what help facilitate our expenses, our smaller expenses, without having to dig into the scholarship fund. But the pledge money does go towards the scholarship fund. Okay, at this time, we will have our school updates and announcements by Dr. Levy.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody? So really quickly, as everybody knows, today was ACT testing for our juniors. Outdoor track officially begins on this Saturday. Prom tickets go on sale tomorrow. Please remember that all forms must be turned in before they can purchase a ticket. And prom is on May 8th. Am I correct with that? And then also
May 6th.
May 6th. Thanks for that correction. Thank you. And then also PTSO, the essay, PTSO essay was emailed today, and the deadline is April 26th for the essay. I'm sure Ms. Ware may talk some more about that, but I just want everyone to know that that did go out today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Levy. I know some people reached out to me about extra graduation tickets. Do you have anything to say about that?
So right now, extra graduation tickets cannot happen. So what we're trying to do at graduation is go every other seat. We're still trying to keep everyone spread out. So right now we're looking at going every other seat. So at this moment today, there will not be extra graduation tickets. Everyone will receive 4.
And then will there be a Zoom link to the graduation?
I see Mr. Light shaking his head.
No, there won't be, no.
Okay. Okay.
As of right now, the way the theater is, they make it tough in the union that works there. But as of right now, no.
All right, that's good to know because I know that was another question. Thank you for those updates. All right, next we have our activity report. As Dr. Levy mentioned, today the essay question went out to all of the seniors. They have until April 26, 11 a.m. to turn in their response. It is a 300, I think 350 to 500 word essay. It will be graded by non-senior parents. It will be graded blind. So none of the parents who are grading it will know who the child is to help make it fair. I'm not sure on how many people will be able to win. We sort of, sometimes it's been a tie and things like that. So we will definitely announce it in May, the winners. But the budget is $5,000. If there is a nice amount of money made at the fundraiser at the end of the month, that number may change depending on if we get a lot of kids and different things like that. So we don't announce how much for each place or how many, because it's been able to change. This year we've gotten more money than we have in the past. So we may be able to do more. I know we'll be able to give out more, but to how many people, we're not sure yet. Also, April 11th is the last day to make the $100 pledge payment towards the scholarship fund. April 11th. If the money has not been received by the end of the school day on April 11th, your child will not be able to compete in the scholarship process. Please make sure you have that money in. It's always disappointing to have to disqualify children because they have not met all of the requirements. On the application are all the requirements for the scholarship fund. Please make sure you read over with your children and all the requirements have been met. April 26th, once again, 11 a.m. is the deadline. They are to email it in to the PTSO email. And at that point, that's where I'll get it and I will take off any personal information to make it blind. So the kids don't have to worry about doing that. That's what we do on our end. Finally, our next fundraiser will be April 30th. I'm going to share. I don't have sharing rights right now. Okay, so I'm not going to share it. It will be April 30th. It is our last fundraiser of the year. It will be the clothing drive. It was a huge success, and I've had parents ask all year. So it's April 30th at the Oakwood Center, excuse me, which is the old Matson Rec Center. We'll be in a parking lot with the U-Haul truck, and we're asking that everybody just clear out your winter clothes. It's time for spring. Hopefully you lost some of that COVID weight and you're ready to get some new stuff and you can just pass it on. Also, we have our seniors who don't need their uniforms anymore. Southland, I think due to COVID, can't take uniforms anymore, but that doesn't mean you can't donate them to someone else. So hopefully all the parents will participate in that. We purposely picked the Saturday after spring break. So you all have all of spring break to clean out those closets and make a nice donation to make sure we have a great turnout for our end of the year fundraiser. If we could get up to $6,000 for our scholarship fund, it would be an amazing thing to do for our kids. So also, this is our second to last meeting of the year. So next month, we have to announce who wants to run for office. So I'm asking all of our parents to please consider if you would like to run for office. I don't have all senior parents this year, yay, but we may still be losing some to make sure we have a full board. Okay, I just received a question. Is there a confirmation email sent to the students to let them know the essay was received? Yes, we will let you know the essay was received. I will try to do it by like 10:45, that all of the students will know at that last time that we received their emails for the scholarship. And yeah, that's what we would do by 10:45. So someone asked, if your child is graduating, can you still run for office next year? You cannot be on a PTSO if you do not have a child at Southland. So, but if you still want to volunteer to help out with different things, you are more than welcome. If you stay active on our Facebook, then you'll still know of things going on, and you can also reach out to us through the email. But we are always looking forward to volunteers. Hopefully we will be able to be back in the building and able to do more with the students next year. So that can still be needed. Do we have any more questions? As Dr. Levy said, the email did go out. So if you do not see the email for the scholarship question, please also reach out to the Southland Gmail account so we can make sure you get it, or they can ask their friends to email it over to them. I know it's the end of the year. I know it's a little bit of burnout because we're writing all those scholarships and haven't done all those admission letters, but it's important to us finish this one out also. Does anybody have any other questions?
This is Ware.
Yes, Dr. Davis, hello.
I don't exactly have a question, but I did want to just comment on a few things that are going on. I think everyone knows that we're preparing for our spring concert. We've grown a lot. 287 students are performing. The band has grown tremendously, the dancers, everyone, but we are bringing something that we have never brought to the spring concert because of scheduling conflicts. And that is, we're bringing the Bluest Eye, which I think is absolutely magnificent. As you know, that was the #2 ranked submission at the IHSA. And so I think everyone is going to love that. But I'm not going to share what I think of the Spring Festival. I'm just going to let you read the smile on my face when you see what they brought. We're not a fine arts school. We never will be. Our focus is college preparedness, college readiness. But I'm always just mystified and delighted by the talent. And when I think of that, what I think of is that throughout life, all of us have things that we enjoyed in high school, and some of those things we kept as a part of our growth as we move through life. But I do want to talk about the prom, if I could. The prom, I know, is very important to everyone. This is our first time in 3 years that we've been able to do a prom as we think it should be done. And so we all know that COVID is not gone. We know that. But what I think is we have had great success with testing and being able to determine if there are any students that or adults who are positive. If we test the day before the prom, I think whether or not students come with masks, I think that should be up to the parents. You all know that the girls want the beautiful pictures. I'm not saying boys don't either, but the makeup and all of that. But if we have a COVID-free prom, then I think number one, we would not be saying foolish things such as socially distanced dancing, and there's no such thing as that. But we're also serving a full meal, like the old days where we used to before COVID. So how does that work if everyone is masked? I know I went to an event and people were pulling up the mask down. So we are going to test everyone so that our students can enjoy this experience. I think it's one that you look back on in life. I still remember the dress I wore to my junior prom, and that's what I want for them, happiness. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is, remember, most of the students come to the prom either in a limo or they drive. And so you're not socially distant, you're sitting with someone else. So even if this is a person from another school, if we test them, then we will know what we're dealing with because of the fact that we will get a negative response. Mrs. Frazier and Mrs. Chapman are the prom coordinators. I think they're doing a magnificent job. And the prom will take place at the Odyssey Country Club, just as when we go to Governor State, we're all in this time. We have been no more than 2 people who have been positive within our environment. And so I'm extremely comfortable and thank everyone that's on this call for the continuous testing, because that's the only way really I think that we stay safe. So if there are questions about the prom, I don't know if there are or not, but I'm happy to answer that, or I would like to go on and comment on the graduation. I don't know if there are any questions. Okay, graduation, Harris Theater. Most of you, well, if you don't know the Harris Theater, it's a very large place with high ceilings. It's a beautiful place. I think it's reflective of who we are. And so we will have a formal graduation at the Harris. We will make some modifications. Normally, we march with all of our teachers, but that's another 73 people. I think this year, because we don't want to overload, that we will march with the junior and senior teachers, but we will be taking our band, our choir. It will be a full graduation. We're planning now the concept. I'm looking forward to it, as I always do. At this point, we're at 4 tickets per graduate. We will be streaming live if you want to share it with anyone, and I encourage you to do that. I encourage you also, because one of the reasons we're downtown, some of you would want to take family out to dinner. Some of you have in the past stayed downtown. I think that's a wonderful thing in terms of celebration. And the Harris Theater is right beside the Bean, so to speak. So I like the location there. But we're going to move on, and the testing enables us to do this. Obviously, we're masked. We're trying to be as careful as we can, but for the most part, we've been able to keep this outside of our environment. And I think our seniors deserve to have as much of a normal senior year as you can have. But I'm always here. I'm happy that somebody invited me. I don't know who invited me to join the meeting, but if there are any questions about anything that we're doing, you know, we did ACT today. In 2 weeks, we do SAT, etc. I think we probably over communicate. So I'm not sure if there are questions about anything. I have nothing to do with the decorations at the prom. So if you're going to ask what the color scheme is, or is there something you have to ask Mrs. Chapman and Mrs. Frazier. But something we are doing starting the Monday after graduation. You well know that our young people are not accustomed to dancing as a couple. And so Mrs. Chapman is working with Mrs. Barkley. We're going to have dance lessons so that I'm not saying they're going to be steppers. You know, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But we will teach them all of the dances that I think that they will take off to college with them, so that they will be able to enjoy themselves. But I also think that shift kind of lets them know that it's coming. And at this point, we have only 2 students that we're working with every day in terms of graduation requirements. Everyone else is doing very well, and they're focused. And so I'm very happy about that. But Mrs. Ware, if anyone has anything to ask me about anything, it doesn't really matter what it is.
Okay, Dr. Yeah, I do have a few questions. One parent wanted to know, for the graduation, do we have to pay for parking?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know the amount, but yes.
Okay. And then another question is, when does graduation practice start?
Let me get my calendar right here. You know, we have senior week. Senior week starts May 23rd. We always practice here, but practice at the Harris Theater starts on the 26th of May. Our graduation is the 28th, but we generally go down so that they can become accustomed to the theater before that. If that answers the question.
I think it may gives an idea. Another question I asked is, how long do you think the graduation will last?
Oh, it's a little too early for me to say that. I would say no more than 2 hours. That's just my estimate. But generally, we run 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that's what I anticipate. You know, we march in. That in itself, for that number of people to march in, would be at least 15 minutes to march in. And so I would say 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes. I am raising money for the graduation fees. It is not in my heart that we, the first time out of COVID that we charge fees. And so I'm going to go to our vendors and others and raise enough money for graduation fees. So that will not be something that you will pay for. The prom is, you can make that as grandiose as you want, but other than parking, I think I can raise enough money to pay for graduations. I'll pester people. So there will be no graduation fees this year.
Okay, great. That's great to hear. And I think for Dr. Levy probably would know. Do you know when the senior pictures are coming back?
With the senior pictures, there were just so many of them. Right now, Mr. Lights, he's cataloging them. So it's just how fast Mr. Lights can get done with it. It was just so many individual pictures. He's trying to give them each their individual folders. So when they're put out there, that parents can just go to the folder and look at the pictures. It's just a long process right now. So do I have an exact date? I do not. But we try to get them done as soon as possible, because I see Mr. Sanders' question there for graduation announcements. They will definitely be out in enough time for graduation announcements.
Okay. And Dr. Davis, we have multiple parents saying thank you about the graduation fees.
Well, it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years since, not that we didn't have something, but the formal graduation, this is not the year. And I'm quite sure that I'll have people to be responsive to our request to pay for the graduation. So we will be fine.
Okay, I have another question. A parent said, will I need to bring my son to the graduation, or will the school provide transportation for the students?
We take all students to the practice, but normally they would come with the parents at graduation. And of course, Dr. Levy will give you more information about that. But generally, we would never bus to the graduation.
Okay.
But
And then,
the choir and the band, yes, but not the students that are graduating.
okay. And here's another question. They know that the seniors are using Chromebooks now, but are the iPads that were used last year available to be purchased?
Yes, they are. Let me get back to you with an amount.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I had a parent say, thank you for the senior photos. The event was very nice and well decorated.
I thought it was nice too. I had a good day.
Okay, those are all the questions I have in chat. Does anyone else have a question for Dr. Davis or Dr. Levy?
And could I say, Mrs. Ware, if everyone wants to share this information with people, because all the parents are not on this call, it is what we're going to do. And we're not going to waver with the prom and graduation, no matter what happens. We realize what's going on in the world. And as long as we continue testing and with masks, but it's just that I do feel, unless a parent wants their child to remain masked at the prom, I think that they should have the option to do that. But we'll do at graduation, at least at this point, is that we will march masked, but everyone as they cross the stage will be unmasked. You have to be able to see the smiles on the faces of our students, not the masks. We've been wearing these masks for 2.5 years, but we've been safe. But the prom, and the prom opens out onto a beautiful patio. I was there maybe a week ago, and there's the golf course that looks out. I just think I can see them out there. I can see if Mrs. Chapman can teach someone how to waltz. Maybe this is my imagination, but I can see that. But I also like the fact that it's airy, and I think it'll be a beautiful night. I know it will be.
I'm sure it will be. Thank you very much, Dr. Davis, for joining us in this meeting and sharing that information. I'm sure we all appreciate it. The parents appreciate it. And if there are no more questions, we will adjourn. The meeting will be available on YouTube probably within a couple of days.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Bye, everyone.